It's important for users that they can carry on using Carpe Diem when they are offline, and that is what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to switch this application to be into mobile version or offline mode, and I've done that now. You can see that many of the menu options have disappeared. We have a new screen here that's showing that 0 updates are pending, but in all other respects the system looks very similar to that which it did before. I can still go in and start a timer, which I have done here. My timer is now running, and if I want to go and add narrative into my timer, I can do so. If I just put in here is my time narrative. You can see as a result of me doing that, the timer is still running, but we have one update pending. The system is online, and you can see this from the green spot here. So the next time it synchronizes, it's going to synchronize our current running timer into our main database. And our posting here says it's outstanding, which means that that time posting has not yet been synchronized. I can wait for a minute for that to happen, or I can force the issue if I prefer to, just by clicking the refresh button. And we can now see there are no updates pending. Our timer is still running, but it knows that that update has now been put forward to our main database. However, if I go offline, the same principle will apply. So on this occasion, I'm going to switch into flight mode. Obviously, things are not going to work now. Very soon, we're going to see that this green spot here will automatically turn red, but in the meantime I'm going to carry on working. So I'm going to stop that timer, I'm going to add a new timer. We know that we're in aeroplane mode, we can see it down here. I'm going to pick a client which it's picking from its offline cache. I'm going to pick on a particular matter, and I'm going to put in some narrative to describe what I was doing, and I will save that entry. That entry has now been saved. You can see that in the meantime it's recognised we're offline, so we have a red indicator up here. We now have 2 updates pending. I think I'm going to start this timer, and perhaps I now want to go and start a new timer. So I shall start a new one. Perhaps I want to now stop that one, and I'm going to add a new time entry, and I'll put this one in for say 2 hours. And again I'll pick on a different client this time, and a different matter. Put in some narrative. So I've carried on working, I remain offline, but you can now see that we have 4 updates pending. And the system will carry on remembering all of these updates whilst we're working offline, and then it will synchronize them back up with the system when we go back online again. So let's do that. Let's say our flight's finished. We'll come off of flight mode. We are now just making sure that we're connecting back up to our wireless. We've done that. We now have internet access, and it's now going to be checking to make sure it's online again. Again, it will wait another minute before it does that because it synchronizes automatically every minute. However, I can force that by doing a refresh. You can see those updates have now gone through. There are 0 updates pending. We still have 2 entries that are incomplete, but in fact 2 entries are now ready and they can be submitted through to our practice management system. I can go one stage further while still being in offline mode if I want to. I could highlight both those entries, and if I wanted to actually click on submit, you can see that they are now outstanding items. But if I force a refresh or I wait for that minute, we can now see that the 2 entries that I had previously said were ready have now been submitted through to the practice management system, and those entries have now been greyed out, which means I can't edit them any further in this particular session.